Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Gentle Business Space podcast. I'm Fabi, I'm a sustainable systems coach, and I support other female business owners build and grow a business that avoids burnout and helps them to grow in a gentle way. And today I want to talk our support environment when we're working. I think it's a really important one, and I'm always reminded of that when I come back from holiday. I've just been away, and it was just that reminder I have every time is we take time off, we take time to rest, and then we step back, usually to the same environment that we've been in before. And when we experienced burnout or gone through the burnout cycles, maybe what happened for you, and I know this happened for myself and others I know, is that we get to that stage of overwhelm, of burnout, of going through the ups and downs of the burnout cycle. And we get to a stage where it gets too much, we want to step back, we want to have a break, and you're taking that time away from your business. You're stepping away, having a break, maybe even debating if this is still for you. Maybe you've taken time to actually really recover, really deeply rest, so you're recovering from your burnout. But often what then happens is that we step back right into the environment that caused us overwhelm and burnout in the first place. And that's not surprising that happens. There's so many habits and beliefs that we have that, and sometimes it's just a situation we're in that we're straight back into that same environment. And I really love that kind of image of the flower. If a flower doesn't bloom, we're not blaming the flower, but we know we need to change the environment and how we treat the flower, and if it's in the right spot within your house or in the garden. Does it need a different environment? Does it need different care? And I think it's the same thing with us. It's not your fault for struggling in an environment that's set up for you to struggle, that's set up to cause you stress. So actually, instead, what we can start looking at is gently shifting the environment around us, and the environment that we're causing within us as well. And that takes some time, and that takes gentle curiosity of what's going on. And it doesn't all have to happen at once. So when we look at environment, what is part of that, I include in that our habits, how we habitually behave, our beliefs, as well as our support network of systems. So if we look at each of them separately, habits starts with, everything starts with awareness. So we need to be aware of what's kind of caused us that burnout in the first place, because we're all different. We all have different needs, different ways of working. So being really aware of what drains you personally and what nourishes you is so important. I know for me, one thing that always drains me is scrolling on my phone a lot during the day. It seems fine in the moment, but over time I can notice that it causes me overwhelm. Or not taking a break, or working through the whole day. Patterns of overworking, of doing too much, we're going into beliefs in a second with that, but these are things that drain me. Or comparing myself, again, spending too much time online, looking at what other people do. And you might have other things that lead to feeling drained and overwhelmed for you yourself. But equally, then we can flip it around. If we're looking at changing our environment, we can have a look at what really nourishes you. So what are the things, the habits that nourish you? For me, it's usually very basic, isn't it? It's maybe drinking more water, going outside more. If I go for my regular walks, I feel so much better. If also in terms of habits, if you're working from home, it's really easy to stay at home all day. But I know that's a big one that really drains me. So nourishing things, going outside, exercising, what really helps you, having maybe time off your phone, spending more time with friends and family, being more intentional with your time. So really having a look at what is nourishing for you and building more of that. So instead of just stripping everything away that drains us, maybe rather looking at how can I build a few more things into my day, into my week that really nourish me, that support me, habits that really help me not get through the day, but go through the day in a gentler way. So having more breaks, taking more times to breathe, to stop, to really notice what's going on for you. So that's our habits, the things that we just do on a daily basis that we're sometimes not even aware of. Sometimes it's about stepping back a little bit, noticing what is actually going on, and how can I build a few more habits into my day without overloading. We don't have to do everything straight away, but how can I build a few more of these habits into my day that really support me and nourish me without overwhelming me. So taking one gentle step at a time. And then I think a really big one is our beliefs. And I think a lot of the things that we believe lead then to our habits. So it's really important to look at these beliefs, like having to earn rest, our worthiness being connected to how much we work, nothing ever being enough. So there's nothing wrong with being ambitious, of course. But sometimes the perfectionism and the nothing's quite ever enough takes over, and that can really lead to ignoring our needs, to pushing past where we should be going, maybe, or past what's good for our well-being. So really noticing, why are we still, why are you doing the things that you're doing? Is it really connected to you, or is it coming from a place of a negative or a not helpful belief that maybe we're not feeling enough, and only if we're working more, if we're earning more, we're going to be worthy of other people's love and affection. So there's a lot to it, and I invite you to be really gentle with it when you explore this. But when we start noticing these beliefs of, I have to work hard, or only if I work more I can be successful. So there's so many thoughts that we have around work and rest and worthiness, especially as well as if you're a sensitive woman. I talk about this a lot because I think there's an extra pressure of I have to work like everyone else does, or otherwise I'm not doing enough, or not feeling good enough. It's easy to compare ourselves to that and think we have to do the same, and maybe feel like we're failing if we don't. But ultimately that's just a belief, and we can start noticing these beliefs and start shifting them. Because actually if we slow down, if we prioritize rest, we can much better support ourselves, and the better supported we are, the better we can support our clients and the people around us. And the fact that we deserve rest no matter how much we work, and that our worthiness isn't connected to how much we've worked. But on a logical level, that's really easy to say, and it takes much longer to really embody that, to really change these thoughts, because they're so ingrained from society. But it is okay to do things differently. It is okay to do things slower, to slowly shift these beliefs, because they then have an impact on our habits as well. If we believe that we have to work really hard in order to be successful, or in order to be worthy, then our habits will reflect that, and we keep going back to that cycle of overworking, of not stopping, not pausing, not taking care of ourselves. And this is really just a gentle invitation to notice that, and not about suddenly being really harsh about having these thoughts and beliefs, because it's only natural that we do, because our whole society is set out for us to believe that, especially as women, especially as sensitive women. That relationship with rest can be really, really difficult. So allowing yourself to hold space for that, to gently explore it, and then taking one step at a time to make little changes to nurture ourselves. So one last bit is then our support environment. So the more technical side of things, the really practical side of things. So having structures in place and systems in place that really support you, that will allow you to step away from your business, to rest, to pause, because all of the beliefs and everything is great, but if we don't then have the systems in place that actually allow us to do that, it's really difficult. So I can tell you all day long, you need to rest, you need to pause. But if your to-do list is endless, if you have so many different things you're offering or you're constantly delivering in your business, in client work, then pausing is very difficult. So we do also need to change really the practical side of our work so that it works for us, so that it supports you, your strengths, your way of working. So these are, for example, how you offer structures. What do you offer and how do you offer it? How many days a week are you delivering? How much of your time goes into delivery, and is that really supportive of your energy? If you're a bit more sensitive, maybe you don't like being in that delivery mode all the time or into a one-to-one space all the time, because it can be really draining. So we're going back to really knowing what trains you, what nourishes you. So really being aware of that, and then maybe starting to adjust what you're offering and how you're offering it so it supports you. So then it moves into your kind of business systems. If you're doing everything manually at the moment, all the time in the present moment, like posting every single day, for example, then that can be really draining as well. So putting in systems in place that help you automate these processes, let you grow your email list without constantly being there, like having an automated freebie, or batching your content so that you're not constantly in that creative space, because that's really can be really draining as well. Having a really clear calendar, creating an ideal calendar. I'll talk about different aspects of this, like batching or your ideal calendar in different episodes. But having a really clear calendar with time off, planning your time off first and then adding your tasks, batch creating, and coming back to the calendar, taking that time off first and making a plan that actually works for the time that you do have. Because I know we want to plan for our ideal world and get everything done, but actually if we're really clear on how much time do we actually have, and time that we can, I think we can think we have a lot of time, but actually according to our capacity, does that actually work for us? So being really aware of how many hours, how much space do you have during the day before you get really exhausted or drained. And I know again that usually comes comparison of, in my old job I used to work 8-9 hours, whatever it was. It doesn't have to be this way. You can do less. It's absolutely fine. It's your ideal way of working. You went self-employed, you created your business because you want to support yourself in a better way. You want to support others, but you want to do it in a way that you enjoy. So there's no point pushing yourself for long hours just because that's what you used to do. You're doing this because you wanted to do things differently. And so it's absolutely okay to work less hours, really being aware of it and then accordingly plan. So it might mean letting go of things, letting go of tasks, and planning a little bit less so it fits within the day, so that you have time to go for a walk, that you have time for exercise, you have time for being with your loved ones, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? What is the point of then still working 10 hours a day, being exhausted, with less security at the end of the day? Well, you don't always have security either with the job, but sometimes it's that question of, are you really still enjoying what you're doing if you're constantly working? Why are you doing this? And what would be more nourishing? What would be nicer? So really reconnecting to that, of finding that balance of inviting more of that joy, of that free time, of that space, flexibility, freedom that you wanted in the first place, and balancing that with a workload that's accessible for you, that works for you, your life, your capacity. And yeah, that means letting go sometimes of things, and also getting support. Maybe it's a coach, or maybe it is a VA. Although with VAs, I would always say, working as a VA as well, knowing what you're doing first and having a little bit of structure first can be really helpful, and still looking at your beliefs and habits, because if you're prone to overworking and doing too much, having a VA won't solve that problem, because that time that you're outsourcing, you're just going to load with more time working yourself again. So there's a bit of a balance to have, I think. But overall, having that systems of support structures and different technical systems and practical systems that can help you to work in that more sustainable way. And with all these different points, to add to that is, let's not try to do that all at once. I know it can be very tempting, but usually that causes more overwhelm again. Allow that to unfold step by step. Start with one little thing, one thing that keeps coming up for you, that causes you stress and overwhelm, that you notice maybe drains you, or that you're really aware of that keeps coming up. And then take one gentle step, gentle change at a time. And over time that will grow, and it will change over time again. I've been working on changing these little things for a long time now, and I've come so far from where I used to be and how I used to work. And I know there's still things I want to change, and there's still things over time I want to adjust. But sometimes that's not all possible all at once. I can't just drop everything, but I can make those gentle changes one step at a time, and not being too harsh with yourself on that journey. No, it's difficult sometimes, and sometimes there's outside environments that we can't account for, that we can't plan for, and sometimes it just happens that we overwork, that we don't take a break, and that happens. And I think we just need to meet ourselves with compassion. There's so many outside factors that we can't account for that cause us stress, that cause us delays in our work. So the best laid plans don't always work out. So when I say, we can all make these gentle changes, we can, but of course we have to consider that it's not going to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not about creating an end system that we never change again. It's more how we gently approach how we work and prioritize our support environment, and maybe letting go of a few tasks that aren't actually that important, and instead making space for that walk, even though that can be difficult sometimes. So when in times where that's really difficult, really invite you to be compassionate with yourself, to be gentle with yourself, and inviting a little bit of curiosity, and just taking it small. But I hope there was a few things maybe out of today's episode that was helpful, that you can implement. If you like more support with this, it's something I explore on a one-to-one basis in my Calm and Connectors Business Reset container, where we explore this more, how we can create that really supportive environment for you with the right systems, really getting to know yourself again, your business, what's working for you, what isn't, and putting systems in place that really support you so that you can continue sharing what you're passionate about, because really that's what it's all about, isn't it? Whilst also supporting yourself. So we don't forget about that. So if you're interested in that, please just get in touch. I'll be happy to have a chat with you about it. And as always, I'd love to know what is your biggest takeaway from today's episode. So let me know in the comments, and what's your biggest insight? What are you taking away? And let me know, maybe there's one small thing that you're looking to change in your environment. Let me know what that would be, and I'd love to hear from you. So thanks so much for listening, and take care for now.